Trumpet.
So this is our bonus episode with Sacha Mandel, and we're going to talk about a variety of things. One of the things that really interested me, because you're one of the few people that have done this, is your combining of creativity with the latest digital aspects of work. Yeah. So you were talking about Miro, and I think that's a slightly more advanced version of Trello. Trello is quite a good product for that, because it has cards and you can stack cards in different categories, and you can add a calendar and you can give access to many different people, so you can do processes, but you can also capture ideas, for teams, for example.
Nice. Yeah, exactly that.
And that was also interesting because you said you were talking about arrows and creating a process, and you can do that. One of the reasons I don't use software for writing, for example, is that I can't do that. I can't scribble notes. I can't star this. I can't put arrows between various things. I can't, rub stuff out. So the starting, because of the startups with your creativity for your show, etc., is process driven, would you say?
I mean, in that respect, it is process, in that, like you mentioned, I actually don't start with Miro. I do start with just a pen and paper, like non-lined white paper. And I mean, I kind of like to feel my way through as well, though. So sometimes you can plan, and I'll do a rough plan, but really it's just kind of going one step at a time in the dark and trying to feel your way through as to what's going on, especially as this marketing campaign. I've done elements of it, but there are some parts that I'm I don't even know how to use Typeform. I don't know what, I know what roughly the 6 questions are going to be that I want to ask the audience to better frame myself. And I've just got to always be closing. I've just got to throw it out. I can't be right, there must be one question, or I haven't said the question perfectly. Just get some data and then iterate from there.
It's very interesting you're collecting data about something, first of all, because I essentially am a marketeer. I'm a marketing consultant, but I do creative stuff on the side. And you'll find Typeform very easy. It is the best solution for a form out there because it's funky and animated. It's just a really nice bit of kit, and it does the analytics as well. It tells you all sorts of stuff, which is useful. But this process-driven thing, because a lot of creatives I talk to it's all in their head and it comes out for them, but they don't think of the marketing. They essentially, because you're a hybrid, because you're marketing and creating at the same time. I'm just fascinated to see the result that you'll get and the people that you'll have in this show. So do you have a picture in your head of what it's going to look like?
I think it's going to feel very much like it's going to have the energy of that classic kind of Friday night live chat show television type energy. But that it's going to have a different feel in terms of a format. The format's going to be very thematic. And I'm just using this as a vehicle to try and understand things, things like food waste is something I'm really interested in. So, I've written quite a lot. I like writing speeches to try and, read about stuff and then use that as an exercise to kind of try and understand it by trying to speak about it. So that's the kind of first thing of where would I go with each theme? It's what's going on in my life at the time? What would be thematically kind of universal that I'm experiencing, so that I can really understand it.
Brilliant. And so that's another question, because I always preach about long form content and reusing content. So will you record this show and repurpose the content of it in different forms, like video, like for a soundtrack, a podcast, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, I could just literally just rip it up and put it on Spotify and Apple things. But at the same time, I think for me, I'm just focusing on basically the part I love the most, which is to try and just get it up on its feet on stage. But it's just interesting you should say that, because I do have some people that I know would be interested watching it live via kind of live broadcasting. So I think I'll add an element to like maybe a multicam live broadcast into the theatre, and then try and sell some tickets to some relatives of mine that live in America that would love to come, right? And that is a great way of showing like, okay, is there an appetite for that? Would people actually pay a little pay a ticket to come see that show from a live perspective? And if so, then you've got to put a little bit of work into that and actually try and make it as best as you can, rather than just.
No, I agree. I think there is an opportunity. I'm always one for mixing live performance with digital. I was explaining to a friend the other day about a show that I did. I wasn't in it. I just helped out at the Edinburgh Fringe years ago, and the guy was very much into film, and so he had a screen and back projection of one of the opening scenes from Paris, Texas. And Harry Dean Stanton walks out of the desert, and then he pauses in front of the camera. Yeah. He takes a sip of water, and what he did was that he was behind that, mimicked that pose, and then stepped out of the screen. That was just lovely. And then I thought long and hard about doing a live show with a Twitter feed on it, so people can contribute there and then, and sort of make up the show as it goes. But I think the way that you're going with the live stream is probably a stronger proposition, because you will get involved in the people that want the comfort of their own home, and I just want to watch. I don't want to go out to the theatre and pay, a tenner for a glass of beer. Yeah.
100%. And so, look, I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the journey, in that I don't really feel in a rush to be at any successful level. I'm really trying to focus on just the pure enjoyment of it, and then not try and think about anything else, because I feel like that's when it will really shine, because you're dancing without a care in the world. You're the first one on the dance floor, and that's it. So that's where I'm at in that respect. Yeah, definitely. So
do you have any sort of deadlines, or when you think this you're going to get the first show on?
So interesting you say that. So I've been really thinking about it a lot, because it's not just here that I'm talking about deadlines, because I help creatives get funding through the Arts Council. I'm also helping people and trying to get them to do their bits in terms of writing the grant application, right? And so it's like, how do you create that deadline system so that people are, doing the work? Because it's a creative endeavor to try and help them build a plan of what they want to do, etc. And so even with this, I'm thinking about the idea of sprints.
Okay. Yeah.
So for example, I did a sprint unknowingly last weekend where I kind of blitzed it. I did the filming, I edited, and finished everything within a weekend worth of work for this video, right? And so then what I'm going to do now is this next weekend, I'm going to go and sprint. I'm going to go back home, no distractions, and just say I'm going to have a weekend, and I'm going to build everything. I'm going to build the type form, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build that, so that by the end of the weekend I'll have a pile of 50 people that I can then just send that type form link to, and I'm including like a video as well. I want to do a video so that before you type the type form, there's a video explaining a little bit about the show, so there's context, etc. So there's a lot of elements that I've already know how to do. But if I'm going to give myself that sprint, that weekend to do it, I think there's I don't know what there's a law, which is, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a law which says, however long you say a thing is going to take to do, that's true. You could write a song in a day if you say it's going to take a day, or you could write a song in a week because you're saying I'm going to give myself a week to write a song.
Well, I agree with that. There's one thing I wanted to pick up with you about what you said in the 12 questions, 12 minutes. And that was essentially that creativity is, everything exists and you're just rehashing it. Is that what you really think? Is there any more original thought in the world?
Is there any more original thought in the world? I think that there is a synthesis that creates novelty, but in essence, it is still just coming all from somewhere. It's all connected. So yeah, I definitely think, you know, if you look at it, even though there's things happening in the world now, you know, it's all patterns, you know, like, you know, the pandemic's like a century pattern that happens, you know, these kind of things. So yeah, and it's, to me, that's not like a negative. To me, it's not a negative, because you can, like, how many times do you rewatch Othello or Hamlet with different actors and things like, you know, it's fun. Like, I still get so much enjoyment every time I watch it in a different form. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then obviously you can create new things because you're mashing other things together that wouldn't have previously come together.
Yeah, that's an excitement. I mean, we covered that in season 2. A thing called Scamp, or Osborne's List, which is taking 9 different ideas, taking an idea, and then there's 9 different sort of protocols to go through, one of which is adaptive, reverse it, make it bigger, make it smaller, a combination of things that you can do. That is something that I noticed and used to say to myself, well, creativity is about patterns, and you recognize the pattern, and therefore you can break the pattern. And then realised that I was overthinking. I should just sit down and have a cup of tea, because you can disappear up your own arse very easily when you start thinking about creativity and how to do it. Whereas a lot of people that I talk to just do it like you just get on with it and do it, and I like that a lot. Cool. All right, so that was. Let's wrap up there. Thank you very much, Sacha, for being part of Jelly Trumpet.
No, that was really great fun. I hope that was good enough to be an episode for you.